Hello, hello, my friends. How is everyone today? Okay, so we're here for project number 3 to go in our idea books. Where's my idea book? You know, the beautiful turquoise idea book that I don't know what the cover is going to be yet, but hopefully you watched video number 1 and got project number 1. And then that's a fun one, huh? I got a lot of comments that that's a really fun one. I agree. And video number 2, which is more simple, but if you try putting different types of decor on this one and try adhering it instead of just clipping it on, you can make this one more fun too by having a lot more tuck spots on both sides there. And so we're here for number 3, and I will tell you that I recorded number 3 yesterday, and it took hours and hours and hours and never completed uploading to YouTube. So I don't know if it's just because we're all sheltering in and so everybody's on YouTube that it's just overloaded, but I'm thinking that shorter videos may be able to be uploaded easier. So maybe I will try to do some shorter videos, but more of them. So I want to start out with one thing though. I haven't been asking, and I decided that I wasn't going to at every video ask you if you haven't already subscribed, hit the bell for notifications, and please share this with a friend. But I'm going to ask you that today, and here's the reason. In talking with some of you, we thought it would be fun to do a live. Then we can all craft together from around the world. We can craft at the same time. We can do project number 3 or 4, whatever we're on, and literally do it live. And that would be so much more fun. But it turns out that you can't live stream from a phone until you have 1,000 subscribers. We have over 100. We can live stream, but I don't have a webcam, so we need 1,000 subscribers. So that may sound like a lot to you, but it doesn't sound like a lot to me. I'm not deterred by a little hard work. So all I'm asking is if you will hit subscribe, and then if you will share this on any group or with any person that you know that is interested in crafts, and say, hey, if you'll just subscribe to my friend's channel, we're trying to get it up to 1,000 so that we can do live streams together. That would be really awesome. Also, when you hit the thumbs up, it says you like it, then what that does for YouTube is tell them that people who watch this video see value in it, and then they put this video in front of more people who are watching similar type. And that's going to get us a lot more subscribers a lot faster. So if you'll hit the thumbs up, for sure, just don't forget to do that. That will let YouTube help us getting our subscribership up so that we can do some live streams. So that will be fun. If you hear some noise, my husband's downstairs taking some cabinets off the wall that I want moved. Got plenty of time right now, right? So hopefully that won't be too noisy. So project number 3 said bring some rectangular pieces of paper. You'll notice that my stack is a little bit smaller than it was when I did project number 2, and that's because I used half of them doing this video yesterday, but I can always use more of these, so we're just going to do it again. Rectangular, or can be cut into rectangle shape, and doesn't matter what size, how fat, how long. Adhesive, any adhesive, anything from art glitter glue to a glue stick. Pretty much anything will work on this project. And then 1-inch or smaller fussy cut images, faux stamps, stickers, rubber stamps that you could stamp images on. I'm just grabbing my drawer of faux stamps there that we'll use. Okay, so let's get going. What is project number 3? Ta-da! I like the things that are quick and easy that you can use in any journal or any envelope you're stuffing for somebody. These are awesome. These are actually not envelopes. These are faux envelopes. I did one envelope. Well, I'll show you why. Really, they're faux envelopes because the sides are open. If you were to glue the sides, it suddenly becomes an envelope. And there's lots of different ways to make envelopes, but the faux envelope gives you the ability to put it in and use it as a writing spot. So if, remember I said have the back be white or plain, or like this one, is a pretty much a solid color, but it's got these little stripes in it, so you could write on those stripes real easily. Use that as the back so that it can be journaled in. And you can clip them. You can put a clip on the top here to hold it close. You can put, this is what our small fussy cut images for, or faux stamps, or I said stickers, but I didn't mean stickers for this one. Stickers were for the last one. We need some, excuse me, some image that we can put on here that acts as a closure. And it's a nice writing spot. So when you put it into the journal, you could either clip it, that would be tucked under there, and then clip it onto the page, or you can glue it right on the back here. And say this is our page, you can glue it right onto the page, and then when they open it, it stays right on the page, and you can journal on there and then close it back up. So let's get right to it, because I'm going to try to get this done in excuse me, got a frog in my throat today. I'm going to try to get this done in a half hour or less, and we're already 5, 6, 7 minutes into it, something like that. All right, I brought a small cutter with me because I've got lots of pieces like this is big. It would be a really giant, you know, faux envelope, which you can use. But for my purposes right now, I know that I need a bunch of smaller ones, so I want smaller ones. So this could be cut this way, and in which case I would have one that ends up being about that big. That would be the top. Or it could be cut this way and then this way. So let's do some of each. I'm just gonna go at like 2.5 inches here. And what I love about this is it uses up your scraps. It doesn't matter what size they are. We're gonna do them everywhere from skinny to fat. It you know, it doesn't matter whether the paper is thin or wide. We can make them. And this is kind of fun. This one I might even just leave like this and have this long journal spot. You know, we're crafters. We're strange that way. We like things that are different and odd and pique our interest. Then I'm going to take this, and let's see, it's probably about 6, yep, it's about 6 wide. I'm going to cut it in half. And let's see, we'll end up with about that big. That's a decent size. Okay, so we'll do that. So let's get started on a couple. So there's a couple of things. You know, those scrapbook papers that are paper like this, not cardstock. Cardstock is you know, much thicker. You can always hear the difference. And paper is much flimsier. So paper works great on these. And I have a hard time finding a lot of things besides collaging to use just the paper for. Cardstock is much easier to use. But cardstock is more difficult to fold on this particular one. So here's what we do. We pick which end is going to be our top, and we'll let it be this one. And for me, it's easier to turn it upside down. For you, it might be to do it facing you. But I'm going to do it this way, and I'm going to bring these 2 points together and then bring them down. And this one's actually going quite easily. Now I've got the point, and I just crease on both sides, and there we go. But the stiffer the cardstock, or the thicker the cardstock is, the harder it is to get it to this point. It kind of tears and it moves a lot. So, and then take your glue, whichever glue you're using, doesn't matter. And if you're using something like this, art glitter glue, or anything liquid like this, all you really need to do is get it coming out first. So make a big old splotch there, is go on 2 sides, that side of the triangle. Yeah, that big old splotch. Maybe we can move it over here and use it. You really don't even have to glue the whole thing, as long as you have those 2 edges like this. 1, 2, that's enough to hold that down. I do like art glitter glue because it dries so quickly, and it holds paper like nobody's business. Okay, then you fold the bottom up. Now, make sure when you fold it up that you're not going all the way up here, because you've got to have room to fold it, or it'll end up bending this, and then it just doesn't look very nice. So leave like a 1/16 of an inch. You can leave more if you want, but a 1/16 of an inch is usually good. Come down here, crease the bottom, fold the top over, and there you go. There is our faux envelope. And that's a nice big journaling spot right there. Now, if you wanted to use a paper in a journal that does not have a solid back, like I do these with book pages or music pages. It doesn't have a solid back, but I'd really like it to be a journaling spot. Then you can take and put, oh, I thought I had some over here. Maybe, maybe not. Just take a piece of notebook. You know, sometimes you get those little notepads and you tear one off, like a Post-it pad, but they can have cute sayings on them or be different colors or whatever. I'll just tear one of those off, or even a regular piece of paper, tear it out so it has rough edges and maybe ink them up a bit and then glue one on. You can glue one solid one all the way down like that, or you could cut one, tear one that goes on that piece and then one to go down there. Okay, so there's one. We're going to set that one aside and we'll decide later whether we're going to put an image here to tuck that into or whether we're going to hold it with a clip. So now let's go to this one. I like these skinny ones because they give you such tiny, cute little envelopes. So this is super, super long, which might be a nice journaling spot, actually. So when I fold that down and tuck this up, that's how long that would be. So I have to decide, do I want it that long or do I want it to be a little bit smaller? I'm thinking that I want it a little bit smaller and hopefully leave just enough on that end that I could do another tiny one. Okay, let's give this a quick glue there. So I have a question for you. What has been the most difficult part of shelter in place for you? Is it not going to work? Is it not being able to see your family, spend time together? Family that doesn't live in the same house? Is it not seeing friends? What has been the most difficult? Not being able to just go out and go to the movies or out to clubs or whatever you like to do? Okay, there we go. So this one's even smaller, but let's see what we can get with that one. I've made some little teeny tiny ones. As long as it's a rectangle shaped piece of paper, doesn't matter how little it is. This one's not all that little. That's pretty fat. Yeah, as long as it's a rectangle, you can make one of these. It doesn't have to be any particular size. It's been so windy here today. I walked into my studio and I had already pulled the blinds up and looked out the window, and after I heard this horrible howling, thought somebody was out there, but it wasn't. It was just the wind. Okay. That's cute. It looks actually like a real envelope proportionately, doesn't it? That's very cute. Okay. Here, let's get some tiny ones out of this little yellow polka dot. That reminds me of a little yellow polka dot bikini. She wore an itsy bitsy teeny weeny yellow polka dot bikini. All right. Who's old enough to remember that? Please tell me that you're old enough to know that song. Whew. I think it was just before my time, but I sure remember it. I'm a musician, and so I always knew lots of music. And from the time I was a kid, I was playing music from generations before me, because I just love music. Didn't matter how old it was. All right, so now we have to decide how. I think let's do, man, that frog is really getting me today. Let's do a tiny one here. And we can do a longer one. We can do a series of yellow polka dot. So these are this tiny one. So that's 1 1/4 by 7/8. That's really cute. You can see lining a bunch of those up on a page in a journal. Can you see that? How fun would that be? All right, so let's try that again with this little one. I like these embellishments, or what do you call them? I don't know if they're embellishments because they can be embellished. They're like the base decorative layer. What would you call that? What do you call your base decorative layer? somebody, let me know. Let me know in the comments. But base decorative layer things, like so far project number 1, 2, and 3. I like these things that you can just grab some paper and some adhesive and go sit down and watch a movie with hubby and put some of these together. And you don't have to drag a whole basket full of stuff out, you know, because you want to be crafting while you're working on something. And it's real easy to get a whole bunch of them made ahead of time. It's so much quicker and easier to grab a journal when you've got a bunch of things made, and as you're, look at that, as you're putting the journal together, you can just grab things, choose how you want to decorate it, embellish it, add things to it. When they're already made, it's so much quicker and easier to do that. Sometimes I think we hesitate on starting a journal because of, you know, all the things that we have to do to get this stuff ready. But if you've got loads of this kind of stuff ready, I mean, so far I've got a stack of ideas. We're not going to run out anytime soon. And that was the whole idea of the idea book, is that, you know, we sit down and we make a journal, and comes time to put the base layer of stuff in it, and we're like, okay, what should I put in it? Oh, what could I do? I can't think of anything right now. Well, of course, because we need it right now. We can't think of anything right now. So if you've got the idea book, you can just grab that, open it up, and you've got tons of ideas. Now, how cute would that be in a journal? The 3 of them. Okay, so here's a piece of wallpaper. This wallpaper is very flexible, but very strong because it's got that paper stuff on the back. I can see we've got a tear over here. So if we were to cut it right there, we're going to end up with about that. Yeah, that would work. There's a couple different ways we could cut this and get a couple of them out of it. But let's try that. I like that in better for the flap. So now this one may be a little bit more difficult to get easily to a point. No, not bad at all. Okay, so wallpaper's good. But this one I know I'm going to have to glue down right away. I think I need to grab a drink of water after this. It's got that frog in my throat. Of course, you know, we're not out and about and doing things and talking to lots of people. So then you sit down to do a video and all of a sudden you're talking a bunch. And the frog wakes up and says, hey! Ah, okay. Hopefully that'll be better. All right. Now look at this. This has got that, not like a serrated edge. It's actually looks like a stamped edge. I might have cut something out with my stamped scissors, and that's why this piece is left over. But I like it. I like it. I'm going to put it right there, and we're going to see that on the inside of our pocket right there. It's kind of cool. Okay, so that's a pretty big faux envelope right there. Okay, what else have we got? Okay, let's see. I always like music paper envelopes. I'm looking to make sure which way the music goes. This is really thick cardstock. So you see how it already goes to a point and just wants to stay there. I tried really hard not to pull it to a point until I get them exactly lined up. Otherwise, that happens. Okay, yeah, this is really thick, really thick cardstock. But makes for nice envelopes or faux envelopes with writing, a lot of good writing space. So, do you have a bin or a box or something that you put your paper scraps in when you're crafting? I'm always curious to know what do you keep yours in? How do you store your paper scraps until you use them? I've got a couple of those like 12 by 12 boxes where the lid flips down and closes. I think they call them scrapbook boxes because 12 by 12 they hold scrapbook pages. Ooh, this is a wide one. Okay, is that not even, or is that just, kind of looks like it's not even. Let's see here. If we line both of those up on 5, maybe this side isn't even. Yeah, so I've got 2 of those. And I started out putting, in one of them, just putting strips. Like I always, there's something wrong with that picture. I always seemed to have all right, we're going to do this. We're going to do it like this so we know it's straight. We know it's straight with both sides, but this is crooked. But when I line this up with this to be parallel and cut it again, it cut the same apparently. It did not. Well, it did a little bit more on one side than the other, but not enough to take care of our issues. So I'm going to do it this way. There we go. That should take care of it. It's a pretty big gap, but oh, you know what? It's not a big gap because this is a super stiff paper. Let's see where I want it to go. I'm going to try to keep this point on so I don't have to cut that off or have it hanging over. So I'm going to put it right there and then smash this. This is really thick paper. Anyway, so I have 2 of those big 12 by 12 boxes, and I started out putting all strips in one, like, you know, like this skinny yellow strip that we had, things like that, because there's, you know, different projects that I would do just with the strips. And then I found I got some scraps and the strip box was handy, so I just stuck the other scraps in there. Well, then I had another one of the 12 by 12s, but it's deeper, and I had start putting other paper scraps, not the strips, but just, you know, cut-offs and half a pages and whatever was left after I worked in that one. Now they're both just full of both. So essentially I have 2 of those full of scraps, and I have been using tons of scraps. And I even have some that big enough pieces of paper that I just put them back in with the paper because I don't have any more room in the scraps. So I need to use up scraps. So our the idea with all of these, let's see how big we want this one. The idea with all these projects that we're doing right now, at least at the beginning for the idea book, inspiration book, is that we want to use the stash that we have and or stuff we find around the house, because we're all spending a lot of time at home right now. And so, you know, some people could order stuff online, others couldn't, but we're not supposed to be getting out to the stores to, you know, to go shopping. So it's a perfect time for us to whittle down our stash. So when all this is over, we have an excuse to get out, go shopping, and buy some brand new craft stuff. But we got to make some space for it first. So let's use up what we have and see how creative we can get just with our scraps. Okay, so I'm going to make this the last one. And then I'm going to show you with the image that you put to close it, a quick tip. And then I'll show you a bunch of these that I'd made previously. That yellow polka dot one is just cute. Now, see, that's way too close. Why is that one crooked too? That is just weird. Weird, weird. I'll just straighten that up though and see if that gives us enough closing room. Barely, but it does. I could always move it down. There we go. Okay, so to close these up, you can either, let me get that right out of the way. You can either put a paper clip on the top to hold it, like that. Before we do that, got to get the pin into the art glitter glue. If you haven't heard me say it before, if you have art glitter glue, make sure you keep a stainless steel pin in there. If you put a nickel or a silver or something not stainless steel in there, the glue will eat the pin away from the top and your pin will be stuck in there. And yeah, don't ask me how I know. Just, you know, use a stainless steel. Okay, so you can do this, and then that holds it closed. You can clip it in. Here's one I made yesterday on the video that I tried to get uploaded for you. Cute butterfly with the bees. Or, oh, I thought I had one of the music ones here. I don't. This is kind of sort of almost like music, almost like part of a treble clef. So that's kind of fun. Or you can put a faux stamp or some image on here to be the closure. So let me show you a few that I made. Okay, here's one that is super, super thick, stiff cardstock. In fact, I think this was the cover of a paper stack. And so that is really thick. So might want to put something on there to clip it into. But here, I really like using these faux stamps for that. But a tip that you'll want to know about for sure. Here's one that was only a half an image on it, and I cut it out anyway, thinking I could layer that underneath something, but it worked out perfectly for this. When you glue this on, make sure that it is only covering the tip. Do you see that? It's only covering that much, the tip of my faux envelope. Look at that one. Oh, I stuck this inside before it was dry. Okay, see how only the tip is in there? There's another one. That's got a little bit more in, but this is flexible. If it wasn't, I'd be in trouble. And the reason is because if it's too far down in it, and you have stiffer cardstock, and you fold the top over here, you've got now 2 layers of stiff cardstock that you're trying to get in and out there. You really end up destroying the flap of your faux envelope, fenvelope, by the time you do that a few times. So that is really key. Another tip is, you saw me struggle with it on this one. When you glue something on, I always put this on to make sure that I'm gluing at the right spot because I can reposition it right there, but then pull the envelope flap out to let this dry. Apparently I didn't let it dry long enough, and some of it had oozed to the center. If you don't pull it out, then you will have stuck envelope when you try to open it and it's glued in there. Now mine came out quite easily, but we're not always so lucky, and sometimes it destroys your point trying to get that out. So here's another polka dot one that he did. Here's another cupcake one. Now this one goes way below, so I'm deciding I might just cut that off right there. I like this one. It's kind of crackled paper. Wouldn't that be fun with a question mark paper clip? What happened to that paper? There's another one. I just like seeing all the different shapes and sizes. See, this one looks like a regular envelope, but it's journaling space. But I like that it doesn't matter what size the rectangle is. Saw these, we just made these today. It doesn't matter what size the rectangle is. You can turn it into an envelope. This one's turned out really pretty. I might use that in a Paris journal I'm working on right now. I think she'd like that. All kinds of them. These stripes. Now, see, these are good colors for anybody, but they also are solid colors for manliness. So if you're working on a gentleman's journal and you need something, these are great to do in theirs. And just choose the paper. There's another one that's really great for men. Just choose a masculine paper, but it's not too frilly of an embellishment to put in there. So how fun is that? That's our tutorial for today with project number 3. Now, project number 4. Project number 4 is, oh, this one's so fun. Cool. Okay, either paper or book pages or music pages. You can do it with any. I like either paper with a solid back, again, like this, like what we did today, something solid that you could write on, or I really like book pages and music pages. That's probably what I use most for this one. Now that paper needs to be minimum of 5.5 by 5.5. That's all. All you need is a 5.5 by 5.5 square for this one. And you need 1 square for each one you want to make. So get you some 5.5 by 5.5 squares, a variety. Maybe you bring a couple things that are solid on the back. Maybe you grab a couple of book pages, and maybe you grab a music page or two. And then this is the one that we need either some small stickers, very small, and 1 inch or less, or fussy cut images that are 1 inch or less, or some rubber stamps. If you've got rubber stamps that have, you know, botanicals or vintage images on it that you like that are small, bring that with some ink. And ink if you want to ink up the edges, that works too. I like to ink the edges on this one myself. So that's project number 4 coming up soon. Thanks for joining me today. I hope you're having fun crafting. I will try to get out more frequent videos and make them a little shorter and see if we can't get them uploaded a little easier. But again, if you will please share the video, subscribe, and be sure to hit the like button so we can work our way to 1,000 subscribers, and we can do some live stream crafting hours, and that'd just be a lot of fun together. All right, we'll talk to you soon, friends. Stay safe, take care of yourself, and take care of your families.